my interactions were really good when Jerry Taylor was still there, and Michael Pillar.
Oh, right. Mm-hmm.
Loved them. They were great writers, and they had a feel for Chakotay, I thought. Ken Biller also. In general, after about the third year, I just thought, you know what? I just want to do my work as an actor. I don't want to do some playwriting and screenwriting. And I, as long as they don't have me doing something too stupid or, embarrassing. Although I think they got away with that several times.
Really?
You know how it is, Sirach. You just want to do your work, man. You don't want to have to deal with all of the other issues like, sometimes you get the script on a Sunday night, and you got to be at work at 5:30 to get into makeup, and they just send it. You get the script at 11 or 12, and then you're not going to get any sleep if you work on your scene. Maybe 2 or 3 hours at the most. So it just becomes such a hassle, and you just go, you know what? I'm going to cut out everything and just concentrate on what they give me. And unless I can't take it, I'll just do it, or I'll just make a quick phone call.
Did you find the directors? Go ahead, Sirach.
Yeah. So.
No. I was going to ask if there was more of that in the first 2 seasons, and then you just said, "All right, I'm throwing my hands up in the air in the 3rd season," or was there more fights and stuff like that?
Well, the thing is, with Jerry and Michael, I could call them and say, "Hey, what about this? Hey, what about this?" And they were very receptive, With the others, and it wasn't always with the others. It wasn't. It was the quality of. They always had one good scene, maybe per episode, but there were like maybe 2 or 3 that were just kind of throwaway scenes. I felt, anybody could have done them. Any one of the characters could have said them, and so that didn't seem very challenging for me. I like some kind of a challenge, I remember when we would always get together with the writers, would invite the actors individually to have dinner with them to talk over the upcoming new season, right? So in one of those, I just said, "Look, guys," they asked me, "What do you want? What do you want, Robert? What do you want?" I said, "Well, I didn't want to."
They were close talkers on you there, huh? What do you want, Robert?
They were right across the table, like, "What do you want?" I said, "I didn't want sushi, that's for sure." But
the famous sushi place.
Sushi.
Yeah. Did you go there, Sirach? I'm sure you did.
I've heard stories.
Yeah. So I just said, "Look, guys, I just want one good scene every episode. One good scene that it's not on the bridge. One good scene when it's not always with Kate. Let me have a scene with Garrett. Let me have a scene with Tuvok. Let me have a scene with, it seemed like I was always talking to Kate, and everybody else. I was just saying, "Hey, how you doing? Hey, Captain, can we talk in the quarters?" And so that's all I ever asked of them. But at that one dinner, that's when they did come up with a boxing episode for me that I really liked.
Right. Yeah.
I think it was Joe Manowski script.
Why do you think it was so difficult for them to write for Chakotay and have so much?
I don't know. You know what? People, when they would have interviews with other actors, or when the writers were interviewed by certain magazines and stuff, I would hear that they said, "Well, he's the first officer, and first officers are always difficult." And I'm, what? What? First officers? Come on, that's a bad excuse. That's a bad excuse, because I'm not a first officer before I'm a human being. I'm a human being first. who happens to be the first officer on the. And I figured if you can write something really good occasionally, then you can do it all the time if you just put some effort into it. But maybe I made them angry. I don't know.
You know, with the first officer thing, Sirach, you come from a show where a first officer was incredibly written for. And the other thing I want to say about that very quickly is maybe thinking of it that way is the wrong way to look at it. And this is me, you know, just coming from the fans' perspective. But you weren't a first officer. You were the captain of your own ship that was assimilated into another group. But they could have written for you as a captain that's working with another captain. It's another way to look at it.
Where were you in those days, Ryan?
I was getting into trouble as a kid.
No, you're right. You're right. That's certainly something that they could have used. But so I would get a little frustrated sometimes, and sometimes I would, Sirach, when you're getting ready to do your close up, and in between those moments where they say action and they're saying, hold on, gotta fix a light here, tweak a light here, and you're waiting for them to say action. Hold on, we just need a few more minutes, a few more seconds. And in those moments when they had the camera running, but they hadn't said action yet, that's when I could slip in some things, like I said, hey, well, because we used to have dress up for Halloween, on the set, and everybody used to come dressed, and then we would have a prize for the best costume. And there was one of those moments where the camera was running and they were tweaking something, and I said, hey, I'm going to be coming as this script and scare the shit out of everybody. So the word got back to me in the dailies that the writers weren't too happy about that.
Oh, they heard that.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on to the next thing, I've got to ask you, what was the best costume in the 7 years of Halloween's, besides the script idea, of course?
Well, there was always one of the crew, because they usually had the time to do it. I can't remember what it was. I can't remember. But it was a big day. It was a big day, dress up Halloween, when Halloween came around, and St. Patrick's Day, because Kate used to, pay for a feast, an Irish feast, every St. Patrick's Day.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'd like to see you at more conventions, Robert. Is that something that you kind of stay away from, or are you just kind of, when your schedule permits, that you do?
It's mostly my distaste for airports and flying. I don't mind it when I'm there. I just cannot stand being, especially flying overseas, to Europe. That is just so long. And I rarely can sleep on the plane. So I'm spending 2 or 3 days just recovering from the flight. And the convention is going on, and I'm having to, try to stay awake, signing photos with those huge lines that they have at the Federation, FedCon.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so hard. That's mainly the reason, honestly. I just don't like the travel.
Wow.
I understand.
Yeah. Do you drive up to Vegas during Star Trek Las Vegas?
No, that would be torture. The 1 hour flight is torture enough, but yeah, that Greyhound bus, like Southwest Airline, no, I don't mind that. Short flights, to Texas, Minneapolis or something. Those are fine. Sure. Even the East Coast is fine, but going over to Europe is kind of tough these days.
Somebody says very quickly He was interesting in Tuvok's holodeck simulation, Pirate Chakotay.